Hey guys, welcome back to week number 2. And this week we're going to be talking about elite mindset. Now, if you remember from our list of mental performance skills last week, these are all of the things that we're going to be covering in the program. And elite mindset is number 1. It's number 1 for a reason. It is kind of this all-encompassing foundation that is really important to have. So remember, all of the skills on this list can be trained. They can all be improved. They can all be practiced the same way that you would practice physical skills. You can practice these mental skills and get better at them. So for each one on this list, I'm going to give you guys probably 3 or 4 different tools and drills that you can do to get better at them. Now, I want to show you guys the FedEx logo. I'm sure you've seen it before on trucks and around town. And did you know that there is an arrow in the logo? I'm going to give you a minute to look for it because honestly, I didn't know it was there. And I couldn't find it once I was told it was there. So I'll just give you a second, but it's right here in between the E and the X. And the reason I show it to you is because it's just a matter of perspective. And once you know it's there, you can't unsee it, which is kind of like the mental skills that we're going to talk about. So elite mindset, it is how you see yourself and the world around you. And it really is the key to reaching your full potential. It can help you overcome adversity and hence help you build resilience. It has 4 domains of high performance. So Dr. Amber Selking describes it as physical, technical, tactical, and mental. And so while there's not, an exact number of what percent high performance is mental, sometimes you might have heard people say, oh, volleyball is 90% mental or golfing is 90% mental. The truth is, no matter what the number is, truthfully, the mental controls the other 3. And so that's why it's so important. So, have you guys heard of fixed versus growth mindset? This is an idea, a theory that Carol Dweck came up with quite a while ago. She's a Stanford professor. And basically, through studies, she came up with these 2 models of ways of looking at the world. So a fixed mindset means that you think that everything is set and fixed. So it means that you think you are born with a certain amount of intelligence, you're born with a certain amount of athletic ability, and it really is a way of thinking where you don't want to be criticized because you don't think you can get better at something with hard work, and you also don't want to see other people succeed because in this mindset, you believe that only one person can rise to the top. So only one person can be the CEO of a company or the star of the team. Now, the other side of it is growth mindset. And growth mindset means that you believe that with hard work and the right coaches and people around you to help you, you can do anything. So with a growth mindset, there is a lot of amazing teamwork that can happen because in theory, everybody on the team can rise and be an amazing team altogether. So there shouldn't be any clickiness or anything that means, she's doing better than I am, so therefore I can't succeed. No. Everybody can succeed in a growth mindset if you put the work in. Carol Dweck was on a podcast a little bit ago, and she told a really cool story about going to speak at a company called GE. So the CEO invites her to speak and she shows up in the lobby. So first thing, the person at the desk of the lobby knew who she was and knew what she was there for because they were also invited to listen to her talk. And when Carol looked around, she saw 5 different booths set up around the lobby. So she says, oh, what's up with that? And they explained to her that they were big projects set up by the CEO, and anybody in the company, if you had an interest in one of them, you could sign up and get involved and be a part of it. So these are like, things that they were investing a lot of money in, trying to discover new things and trying to do things a different way. And the interesting thing was, Carol was like, the CEO knew and understood that of these 5 ideas, yes, they're going to pour money into all of them. Anybody in the company can legitimately contribute to the idea and to the project. And they fully knew that probably only 2 of the projects out of the 5 would succeed. And they were okay with that. It was worth it to them to have 1 or 2 amazing ideas out of the 5 to have it work. So that's a really good example of growth mindset. Now, for growth mindset, for elite mindset, which, by the way, if you feel like you are more of a fixed mindset, and if you did the questionnaire that I sent you already, and it's leaning more towards fixed mindset, you can absolutely train it and get better and move over into the growth mindset side of things. So don't worry about that. So the first tool that we have is called E+R = O. And what it stands for is E is for event, R is for response, and O is the outcome. And what that means is events are going to happen in your life, good and bad, and it really is our response to them that determines the outcome. You could have something really terrible happen to you, and depending on your response and how you take it and what you do with it can have very, very different outcomes. Okay? I'm going to come back to this list, but I want to show you, this next video is a fellow, his name is Jocko Willink, and he is an ex-Navy SEAL. So high level military, and he does a lot of amazing mental mindset type stuff.
Good. How do I deal with setbacks, failures, delays, defeats, or other disasters? I actually have a fairly simple way of dealing with these situations, summed up in one word: good. This is something that one of my direct subordinates, one of the guys who worked for me, a guy who became one of my best friends, pointed out. He'd pull me aside with some major problem or some issue that was going on, and he'd say, "Boss, we got this thing, this situation, and it's going terribly wrong." I would look at him and I'd say, "Good." And finally, one day he was telling me about something that was going off the rails, and as soon as he finished explaining it to me, he said, "I already know what you're going to say." And I asked, "What am I going to say?" And he said, "You're going to say good." He continued, "That's what you always say. When something is wrong or going bad, you just look at me and say, good." And I say, "Well, I mean it. Because that is how I operate." So I explained to him that when things are going bad, there's going to be some good that will come from it. Oh, mission got canceled? Good. We can focus on another one. Didn't get the new high-speed gear we wanted? Good. We can keep it simple. Didn't get promoted? Good. More time to get better. Didn't get funded? Good. We own more of the company. Didn't get the job you wanted? Good. Go out, gain more experience, build a better resume. Got injured? Good. Needed a break from training. Got tapped out? Good. It's better to tap out in training than to tap out on the street. Got beat? Good. We learned. Unexpected problems? Good. We have an opportunity to figure out a solution. That's it. When things are going bad, don't get all bummed out, don't get startled, don't get frustrated. No. Just look at the issue and say, good. Now, I don't mean to say something trite. I'm not trying to sound like Mr. Smiley Positive Guy. That guy ignores the hard truth. That guy thinks a positive attitude will solve problems. It won't. But neither will dwelling on the problem. No, accept reality, but focus on the solution. Take that issue, Take that setback, take that problem and turn it into something good. Go forward. And if you are part of a team, that attitude will spread throughout. And finally, if you can say the word good, then guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, that means you've still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
I love that. I've used it many times myself. I can think of a lot of stand-up paddleboard racing where I've been out on the ocean in insane wind and it seems impossible. And I would actually constantly say out loud to myself, good. It's making me better. I'm going to be a better paddler, a better racer for this. And by saying good out loud repeatedly out on the ocean, it just really helped me focus my thoughts, not let a bunch of negative stuff come through, and just really focus on the task at hand. Signs of success we're going to talk about a little bit later, but Well Better How is a really huge tool that I'm going to talk about next. So let's see what Kobe has to say about Well Better How, and then we'll talk about it.
What does losing feel like to you?
It's exciting
Why is it exciting?
because it means you have different ways to get better. There's certain things that you can figure out that you can take advantage of, right? Certain weaknesses that were exposed that you need to shore up, right? So it was exciting. I mean, it sucks to lose,
Right.
but at the same time, there are answers there if you just look at them.
Because you get the information from losing more than from winning, probably.
Yeah. I mean, the answers are there when you win, too. You just have to look at them.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a constant process. It's exciting when you win. It's exciting when you lose because the process should be exactly the same, whether you win or you lose. As you go back and you look and you find things that you could have done better. You find things that you've done well that worked. You figure out how did they work? Why did they work? How can you make them work again?
Yeah.
So this idea of reflecting back on things and thinking well, better, how is really, really huge. It's once you get into the habit of doing it, honestly, it is amazing how much it will change your way of thinking. It helps you to process things. It helps you to put some thought into it. So what I like to say to start with is after training sessions, after games, after competitions, to either have a journal where you're actually writing down stuff or even in your notes app on your phone. And after every practice or race or game, write down well, better, how. I want you to always write 2 or 3 things that you did well. Our brain hangs on to negative things 7 times more than positive things. So I'm going to have you write down one thing that you could have done better, that you would like to have done better, which means that for the well, write down 2 or 3 things that you did really well. Pick one thing that you could have done better, and then write down how you plan to go about getting better at that thing. And what you'll find is a few things. Next time you go to practice, you're actually going to show up and have an actual agenda item in your mind of what's important to you. Whatever it is that you wished you could have done better at the game 2 days ago, you can now, it's on your mind and you can work on it in practice. So there is that. Over time, you will find, if you're doing it regularly, things that were in the better column that you wanted to improve on will move up into the well column. And eventually, you're going to have a journal that is full of evidence of things that you are really, really great and badass about. So whenever there's a moment where you are kind of questioning yourself, you don't feel confident, you're questioning yourself, you can pull out this evidence journal and you can look back, because we often forget things that went really well and and whatever. A couple of days later, you forget all about the amazing play that you made or the amazing teammate that you were that day. So always good to write down in a little bit of detail and keep track of it that way. So another tool that we have in the toolbox is telescopes, microscopes, and reverse engineering. And I am actually going to cover that in a separate little video later this week. So that's it for now. I will see you next week. Bye.